Okay. So, we will begin today's lecture. See, if you recall, today's, I think it's 14th, lecture number 14. So, if you recall, last time I was trying to give you derive from first principle. I was trying, in fact, I did almost complete, I derived the complete generalized Hooke's law. It is called generalized Hooke's law because we are relating all the stress components, that is 6 stress components, to the 6 strain components at a point. So, I took a small cube, I took a small parallelepiped, if you do not want to say cube, it can be dx dy dz also, size can be dx dy dz. And then I told you that if you apply, I do not want to repeat again the whole thing. And this was necessitated by the fact that I wanted to discuss only two-dimensional state of stress for transformation of stresses. So, what I said that yes, if you have a parallelepiped of size dx dy dz, and if you apply one normal stress here, let us say in x direction, this was free of any stress before the application of this sigma x. So, when you apply sigma x, then what will happen? This will expand and in x direction, and the strain in x direction will be equal to sigma x by E, where E is the modulus of Young's modulus of elasticity. So, this is a simple law, this is simple uniaxial. This is, so far it is uniaxial state of stress, which we have discussed thoroughly. So, uniaxial state of stress, now we are trying to generalize that to multi-axial state of stress. Generalize is, that means if everything, if there is a general loading at a point P, then what happens? Now, if you superimpose on this also sigma y, so sigma y, then this will also produce a positive strain in y direction. But what must be remembered is that yes, you are considering, you are taking this as uniaxial, but in addition to that, if it is a small parallelepiped, then it will also give rise to contraction of sides in y and z direction. So, that must not be forgotten. So, for example, the first one, when you apply the sigma x, then it must have produced also a negative strain in x direction here, sorry, negative strain in y direction. Because of application of sigma x, there will be a negative strain in y direction. There will also be a negative and also a negative strain in which direction? No, but then what did I do? Yes, negative strain in z direction. That, and the value will be how much? Sigma z. Where is sigma z? It is here. So, it will be nu times so these three are because of application of sigma x. This must be kept in mind. You have applied a positive stress sigma x. So, because of that, there is a positive strain in x direction, negative strain in y direction, and negative strain in z direction. But what about the shear strains? I will write shear strength over here, change in angle between xz, change in strain between, sorry, first you take xy, don't take xz, then you take between xz, and then you take between y and z. I can also write this as xz is same as equal to yx, this is also equal to gamma zx, and this is also equal to zy. See, I am very slow in my delivery, and this has already been noted by most of you. I will try to hasten it up. So, this is, so when you apply sigma x, then these are the normal strains that are produced. This must be kept in mind, and you should be able to derive this without referring to any book, or this does not require any book. So, this is, since the angles between, because this will become now, the sides will change, it will not be dx, dy, dz, the sides will not be equal to dx, dy and dz. Originally it was dx, dy, dz, but after application of sigma x, the sides will change, because it will elongate in x direction, contract in y direction, and contract also in z direction. What will happen to these strains? See,